This is a posthumous album from Sharon Jones and the Dap-Kings. Sharon Jones died, I think, about a year ago, but this album is still being released, and wow, this is an incredible, soulful album that just is saturated in that retro soul sound. It sounds like it came straight from the 60s. And honestly, it is a massive throwback of an album because there isn't really anything on this album that would make you think, oh yeah, this came from like 2017, it's just doing the sound really well. No, it's just got that such like that perfection of a sound that came straight from that era. These guys have been at it for about 15-20 years now, so it's kind of strange that they came into this sort of style quite late as a group, and they carried it on and did it so much justice. There are relationship topics on this album, there are political issues going on as well. And the relationship issues discussed on this album do feel very traditional, like on the track Rumours, where she's talking about how like, oh, you know, are you not really good for me? Are you just playing, and are you actually, you know, just not in it for what I'm in it for? And it's by far the funkiest jam on this album. That chorus, rumours tell me that you're no good, baby. Like, I cannot help but just dance and just like, oh, yes. And also what's quite traditional in the relationship aspect on this album too is like When I Saw Your Face, which is just like such a lovely song about seeing the person that she loves, you know, seeing him sends a tingle down her spine. And that track brought a bit of a glimmer in my mind. Glimmer in my mind? I don't even know, I'm just making up sayings, guys. That it made me realise that this album is like 2017's version of Charles Bradley's Changes that came out last year, and that guy unfortunately died earlier this year, but that album is such a retro soul album that felt perfectly done. Like, everything just sounded so 60s and 70s, just down to a T. Like, it was just excellently made, and this is like this year's version of that. And I mentioned briefly as well the political angle. A Matter of Time is sort of the perfect example of that, as she's sort of discussing here that it's just a matter of time before all the wrongs will be righted and things are going to start to be much better and the world will be more wholesome. I suppose it's like a utopian ideal, but it is interesting as well that we're still having songs like this in 2017, because this totally reminds me of like A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke, and that song came out like 40 plus years ago now, and it's still got that similar idea behind it. But the Dap-Kings as a band, man, like seriously, they just incorporate so many great elements of jazz, the obviously retro soul, and some of those funky like bass grooves as well, and the guitar playing as well across this album. Everything just feels just so in the moment, you know. I just love albums like this where all the instrumentation feels live, the singer just sounds like so natural and organic, and oh man, it just makes me happy. I do kind of like as well how Sharon Jones questions like the ideal and the sort of interpretation of what it takes to be a man on a few of these tracks as well. On the closing track is a really good example of this, where she's sort of identifying that this guy might have problems, might be that player that she talked about earlier on the album, but at the end of the day he's still going to provide and he's still going to do the right thing for his woman. I mean, honestly, do you ever hear like anything like that in music anymore? Not really. It's just kind of cool and unique to hear. But the track before this, so I do kind of have to question what Sharon Jones is talking about here. I don't know where I can find the lyrics. I've tried finding the lyrics online. I'm sure there's a lyric sheet if I purchase this album physically. I do still do that, by the way. I just haven't done it for this one yet. I mean, I do buy music, don't worry. But the track is Girl, You Gotta Forgive Him, and on this track it kind of sounds like she's talking to like a friend of hers and she's just been cheated on, and Sharon's basically consoling her by saying, oh, you gotta forgive him, he's done you dirty, but he's still the right person for you. And if that's the interpretation I'm getting and I'm right, I don't know if I agree with that on a moral level. If any of my friends cheated on their other half, I'd honestly just respond with, "You're a fucking dickhead." Perhaps that's the wrong attitude to take and I should be a bit more of a supporting friend, but I don't think I'd be like, "Oh, you're a good person, they're gonna take you back, it's all good." But perhaps this ties into the traditional themes that I was talking about as well. I don't know if there was an era where this was more of a thing that happened. I mean, yeah, it still happens now across all relationships where people still stay with the other person after they cheat, but just to hear it in a song that way was just kind of like, what? Aside from that, this album honestly is just brilliant. Like, it really is amazing. I couldn't believe it when I heard this. I was just like, you know, maybe it's just going to be one of those albums that sounds like it came from that era and that's it. It's just another throwback. But no, this is not your knockoff version of soul music. This is a real deal. And I really love it. I really love it. It's going to be on my year-end list, which will be coming next month and all that stuff. So yeah, this is an A minus easily. An A minus. Definitely go listen to this album. Check out this album, like I just literally said. What am I doing? Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Let me know what I should review next and any other videos you want to see from me. And have a good day.